Hello, my name is Tim from the Wasmer Company. I'm going to be very respectful of your time and try to keep this pre-recording down to less than 10 minutes. So we're going to run through a lot of information very fast, and I'm going to be straight to the point just to be able to give you an overview of strategic energy management. Now, I don't want you thinking, oh, there's another new program. I can't do it. I don't have enough time. We have our goals. We're trying to do what we can. The last thing we need to do is layer on another project. I want to be able to tell you that that's not the case. This is something different. Just please keep an open mind and have your pens and papers ready to take any notes. So let's jump into it real quick. Energy efficiency yes, it can save you energy, but more importantly, knowing that 76% of Americans believe in sustainability, we can also use this as a recruiting tool and a retaining tool for our skilled workers, for our talent. Think of the millennials coming about. We never heard of electric vehicles before. We are now. One of the most impactful things you could do, something to differentiate yourself, is let's throw an electric vehicle charging station outside the Human Resources Department. The fact that you're being different, you're differentiating yourself. And that's what life is about. That's what sales are about. And that's a great way to be able to attract key talent. We know that human resources has to put a sales hat on every time they're bringing people, especially in a tough market. You probably have a lot of other competition for your talent. The human resources department has to be a sales department, just like your business development department selling your widgets. We also have to worry about consumer perception and brand loyalty. Again, a lot of people care about sustainability. So let's not fight it. Let's keep moving with it. Let's look to tackle it and show what we're doing to incorporate it in our company. How big is the opportunity? Not only can we increase sales, not only can we attract key talent, we can also reduce cost. According to the Department of Energy, approximately 58% of energy is being wasted in our facilities. But why can't we execute and get rid of that 58%? Well, part of it is we're so busy. We don't have a dedicated team to it. And even if we do have a dedicated team to it, they're torn because they have a lot of other stuff going on. According to Industry Week, 74% report a severe shortage of skilled and professional workers. So what does it cost us every year? So take a look at your electric bill, your natural gas bill. So anyways, take a look at your electricity and your natural gas and imagine what that could mean for your company if you could reduce it by 50%. The problem is with goals and company programs, according to Harvard Business Review, 70% of all company initiatives fail to be completed. Of the 30% that are completed, only 15% were on budget, on time, on money, and results. So I get very passionate about this. Real quickly, here's the program. First of all, we want to have a discovery meeting. We want to be able to sit down with you after this webinar, face-to-face, and understand what's going on in your company. We want to educate you on the program. ENPI stands for Energy Performance Indicator. SEM stands for Strategic Energy Management Plan. And ISO is International Standards, which you probably already participate in. The next goal would be, or the next plan would be to establish a goal and define roles and responsibility. Don't worry about the Wasmer thing. Let's jump to the next one. We want to be able to interview people. We want to gather data. We have to catalog the SEUs, which is Strategic Energy Users. We need to be able to catalog, record every motor, every pump, how many light fixtures you have, all the chillers, the rooftop units. You name it, we want to record everything from air compressors to air pumps in your facility. Find out where they're at, how much are they consuming, when are they operating, things like that. We want to be able to review the performance modeling ENPI tool. And what that is, your electric bills and your production data, we can model how much of your energy is being put towards baseline and how much is variable. We want to be able to review the Strategic Energy Management Program with you, the Strategic Energy Users Catalog. We want to prioritize them. Sub-meter, more than likely you have more than enough sub-meters in your facility to make our information even better. We don't need a lot. Don't get alarmed by that. We don't need a lot of sub-meters. We just need a bare basic number. We want to review the standard operating procedures for those significant energy users. Is a human actually taking care of, let's say, a furnace or a injection molding machine, or is it automated? We need to be able to understand that. We want to implement projects, and you'll notice I'm first talking about implementing projects now because we had to do a lot of due diligence. The due diligence is what we do every day, and the implementation is what we do every day. There usually is not a single client that doesn't say, I wish we could implement more projects. They just don't have time. And guess what? That's all we do. Revise SOPs and train the employees, and then let's do an annual review. So real quick, discovery meeting is in your facility. We want to be able to look at the energy being consumed in your facility, be able to tell you about your operation. So when we're implementing strategic energy management, we need to inventory the energy uses. We need to associate the energy use to production process and facility layout. We need to designate significant energy users for what they are, understand the opportunities, look for new performance improvement opportunities, create a process for maintaining energy review. Here's the regression graph. Essentially, if you put in the energy consumption along with production output, we can model the energy. Fairly quick, pretty simple stuff. We just need the data. From that, if you actually understand how much is baseline, how much is variable, we can make some really good goals. We can establish how much should you be reducing and if we can actually achieve it or not. Let me just skip over this. This doesn't really matter, but essentially the bottom line is if we do all this work for a client, we need to be able to be named the strategic energy partner. And essentially all that means is we would be your outsourced engineering and implementation group. We could do for you is we have a process where when we create projects later on, it has full transparency. You see every invoice, every credit, because it's based on a cost plus program. No different than if you were having your maintenance department put this stuff together. You're going to have these costs. But instead of paying for the maintenance department personnel to implement it, we're using the cost plus program. The other thing is what's really interesting with this is we're held to the structure. We're held to the goals, meaning that if we hit the goals, great. You're going to be happy. But if we exceed those goals, no different than a very important employee, you're going to give them a bonus. This is the really cool part, though. The really cool part is if we come up short on those goals, you get to penalize us. Not many companies will penalize their own employees, but you get to penalize us if we come up short. So that motivates us tremendously to be as accurate as possible. I want to give you this visual real quick here. Is a lot of times when we're talking with clients, they talk about a return on investment for these projects. And that's fine, but we need to talk with accounting to really verify that that return on investment requirement pertains to this program. There are not many programs that companies can do where the cost savings is so significant that the energy savings, the savings can make payments and clients can actually borrow money to get these projects implemented. The other thing is knowing that this energy efficiency helps human resources department, it helps your marketing department, your sales department. Maybe that 50% return on investment does not apply here as well. So for an example, if you look at the blue of trying to save $2 million a year and you have to do a 20% return on investment, you need to have a $10 million budget. If you still want to save $2 million a year, but you want a 50% return on investment, guess what? We can't do it. There's just not enough low-hanging fruit in a facility to be able to achieve that. To be able to figure out how to act and prioritize stuff, we need to interview a lot of people. We even go as far as asking to attend your new employee orientation. It is the one time and the only time a company usually gets to push its message out to the entire group is when they're first hired. And we want to make sure that our program aligns with the company's mission and message and unfiltered through years of experience in the corporation. We want to be able to present you our performance modeling, be able to present the 3 years production energy data, how it relates to each other, find out what is baseline, what is variable. And I keep talking about variable and baseline because it's really crucial. It's the only way to verify we can hit goals. Here's the EMPI tool digging a little deeper once we have more information. Having the regression graph, it is pure statistics, but boy, is it accurate. Once we have that and we've cataloged everything, we can present those findings to you and determine where our goals should be, how we're going to be able to achieve it. If we have to do any power monitoring, more than likely you have more than enough already, but sometimes we're not using all the features on the VFDs, for an example. And being a Rockwell automation integrator, we try to use more of the information you already have in your facility. Here's a review of the SEUs. Here's an example of it and how much we relate it all back to kilowatt hours, reviewing that information, reviewing the standard operating procedures for those SEUs. Sometimes we're finding out that equipment is being used inappropriately, so nothing has to be done differently other than to re-educate the employees operating it and rewrite those standard operating procedures. If you don't have standards, I'm going to highly encourage that is done during this process, during this stage, for us to write those standards so that moving forward, this SEM program does not live and die based on if we're involved or not. I want this thing to grow. I want this thing to mature and be sustainable for many years to come. We want to automate those SEUs. There are so many times, be it dust collectors, furnaces, hydraulic pumps, that are not integrated, they're not automated, and they're running for no reason. You'll notice here we have KPIs, and you probably have some of those KPIs, but we do some different things unique so that you know daily if you're going to meet those KPIs for the month or not. And that's through alarms and reporting via text, email, to let you know if things are out of parameters or not. So that one is very exciting. Here is where a lot of people get started with their energy reduction goals. And you'll notice this is step 11. This is not step 1. To do a really good job and prioritize and do these projects in order of is we need to have enough due diligence. At this point is when we can start implementing the projects, and the rest is really quick because we train the employees after the fact how to use it properly, revise those standard operating procedures, make sure that it's being operated correctly moving forward, and then let's do an annual review to make sure we're on track. Be it a 3-year agreement or shorter or longer, it doesn't really matter. Annually, we want to review, make sure we're on track, and then learn from it and repeat. The next stage, if this intrigues you, the next thing would be for us to come in for a discovery meeting, talk to you about it. More than likely, you have energy teams. Love to be able to get everybody together. We can quiz each other, talk war stories, and see if we can help each other. Doesn't fit for everybody, but we find that the clients that allow us to act like a trusted employee, we're able to get a lot of results, be able to achieve those results, and get a lot implemented. Again, my name is Tim. I'm going to give you my cell phone number. My cell phone number is 920-698-2950. Again, 920-698-2950. Thank you very much.